This is a presentation on assessing future information needs. This process shows how to prioritize informational decisions in order to determine what information is needed and when. The following are the steps involved in this process. The first step is to identify the issues a decision maker will likely face and the decisions that will need to be made. The second step is to list the information needed for each future decision. The most appropriate and relevant information will be needed. The third step is to create a taxonomy, meaning a classification of the decisions in an ordered system. The purpose of this is to put related pieces of information together so one can see if there is a need for a piece of information across decisions. The fourth step is to then prioritize information by rating its relative importance on a scale from 0 to 7, 0 being irrelevant and 7 being of utmost importance. The final step is to devise a plan for data collection and analysis. Resources should be allocated according to what information should be collected immediately, routinely, occasionally, or when a need arises. Our decision maker is Judy Anderson. She is a single young lady currently working as a healthcare consultant right out of college. However, she is unfulfilled in her current career, and while she is single, she is involved in a serious relationship with her college boyfriend. The future decisions she faces are whether or not to continue working in a job she does not particularly enjoy, or apply to and attend grad school, then whether or not to buy a car, and lastly, whether or not to get married to her boyfriend. This slide shows the information that would be needed for each decision. For the career-related decision 1, Judy would need to know what school she could get accepted to, what she plans to do in terms of furthering her career, where she plans to live, and how much going back to school would cost. For decision 2 concerning the car, the information involved would be the cost of the car, how much time she would save each day if she had a car, and what she planned on doing in terms of her job, as well as gas prices. For the last decision, Judy needs information on how much a wedding would cost, her future career plans, what they would do about living arrangements if married, and how much time getting and being married would take up. After listing these informational factors, the information was aggregated in the following 6 categories: school acceptances, future career goals, location, cost, time, and gas prices were formed. This table shows the ratings of relative importance of each category as it pertains to each decision. Both Judy and an external expert rated on a scale of 0 to 7, 0 once again being irrelevant and 7 being very important for each category. Then the averages and range, which is the difference between the highest and lowest ranking, were calculated for each category. Notice that the decision makers' rankings are shown in yellow and the experts are shown in blue. Using these results, the information categories can then be classified by priority level. Using the average and range, information will be classified as essential, rapid collection, periodic collection, or low priority. Essential information being important to all issues and should be collected as soon as possible. Rapid collection being important to some issues, or most issues, and should be collected soon. Periodic being important to just some, and should be collected as needed. And low priority items being irrelevant and should therefore be ignored. If the average is high and the range is narrow, the information is essential. So location, cost, and time are essential pieces of information and should be collected right away. If the average is high and the range is wide, the information is rapid collection. So career information is fairly important and should be collected soon. If the average is low and the range is narrow, it is periodic collection information. And if the average is low and the range is wide, it is low priority information, meaning school acceptances and gas prices are irrelevant and should therefore be ignored based on the range and the average for those categories. As for the discussion and introspection of this process, advantages and disadvantages arose. In terms of pros, by focusing on future needs, the possibility of identifying information that is no longer needed is very much reduced. Also, because this is a decision-driven methodology, the chances of collecting data that may not be used is also reduced. Furthermore, the expert opinion makes the results more accurate, and because information is prioritized, it can be determined what information is necessary and when to collect it. Also, because the relative importance of various categories is determined, this can help us distinguish between needs and wants. Then, in terms of cons, the expert and decision maker could have very conflicting viewpoints, and irrelevant categories rated with zeros greatly affect and possibly very much skew our final results.